If you feel stuck wherever you are, this video is for you. I just got my Australian citizenship and I'm really, really happy about it, over the moon. I've lived abroad for more than 20 years now. I've been through visas, sponsorships. I worked and lived in many countries. I've traveled extensively to over 50 countries, and it feels like finally I was rewarded with something. And you should stick around because maybe this is one of the things that you're overlooking that can really change your life forever. So just recently, I went to the ceremony, the Australian citizenship ceremony. I was invited by my council, Waverley, here in Sydney. They put together this beautiful venue. It's Bondi Pavilion. If you guys know more or less Sydney and the highlights, you know that there's a very famous beach called Bondi Beach. They have a building called the Pavilion, and they organized the ceremony over there. It was a really beautifully put together and rewarding ceremony. We had to sing the Australian anthem. We had to swear oath to Australia. And then at the end, they gave us some lamingtons, some of the sweets or cake, whatever that is, typical of Australia, and also some Anzac cookies. It was such a magical moment. It was a sunny day, really hot, really Australian in the sense of in a stereotypical sense, let's say. It came after nearly 7 years of entering Australia. So I know it sounds long, but it's worth it. It's worth it. And I'll briefly go through the steps, and perhaps you'll see yourself in the same situation, and probably you'll be able to do the same things as I did and arrive where I've arrived. I'm talking like I'm a millionaire living in Dubai. That's not what I mean. What I mean is Australia is an amazing country. It's not only beautiful or rich. No, it's a country that gives you an amazing quality of life. It gives you a strong economy for you to get almost any job you want in the career that you want. It's a decent sized market, 27 million people right now, I think. It's a massive continent full of beautiful landscapes, nature, lots of opportunities for business as well, if you're an entrepreneur. And as a foreigner, when you first arrive in Australia, you don't really get much access to a lot of these things because you're very limited by the visas that you get or what the Australian government allows you to do. But, it's always tied to the visa and your passport, basically. Immigration is tough here. It's really tight. Having said that, they do let a lot of people in every year, but it's not easy. And it's not anyone. Not anyone can enter this country. If it's a good or a bad thing, that's another debate for another video. But it is what it is, right? Australia is life-changing, and maybe you have the opportunity to also become Australian more easily than you might think. It felt like, okay, Australia recognizes my hard work. Australia recognizes that I'm part of the puzzle. I'm a little piece that just joined the bigger puzzle that is Australia, this amazing country, and the 27 million people that live here right now. Many of them, by the way, born abroad as well. The reason I'm making this video is not just because I'm feeling over the moon. It's because I have some advice, if you will, or maybe at least food for thought for your life if you feel stuck where you are. So my journey to Australia was fairly easy, I can say, because I was living in London before. I had lived in London for about 8.5 years, and that's where I learned English and where I got fluent in English. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, that really helps. That's crucial, and actually one of the Australian values that you have to basically comply with to become a citizen is that you must speak English, because English is the unifying factor of this country. In order for all of us being able to communicate with each other, share our knowledge, share our experience, being Australian. Recommendation number one, if we're gonna start with recommendations, learn English before you arrive here, because that will really increase your chances, massively. Not only to be able to stay here, but also to make friendships, to get a better job, a better social life, everything. A partner, who knows? All these things. And the journey to get to this stage, to get the Australian citizenship, can start in many different ways. It can start with an Australian partner, right? So some people, probably that's the most famous one, where people joke about it. They say, oh, have you met someone? Did you get married? And then you get the passport through an Australian, ha ha ha. And they make a joke about it. Oh my God, I've heard that, I don't know how many times I've heard that. People that don't know my life and they don't know me, they even made jokes in my DMs saying, so did you meet an Australian? No. So yeah, short answer, no. I did not fall in love with an Australian. That's not how it worked for me, and probably for the majority of people, to be honest. So I came to Australia with a working holiday visa, which probably you guys, if you're watching this, it means you have an interest in Australia, so you already know by now. But it's a visa that allows you to come to Australia on a very, 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 very flexible visa that allows you to work for any employer all around the country, maximum for 6 months, so no more than 6 months. Usually casual work, so they can call you to work some bar shifts or work in a farm or any sort of business, but it's usually casual work, usually. But there are people that get contracts, like me, I got a contract. That's what I'm going to explain next. So since I had already built a career in London in tech, I had that possibility in Australia. It's very hard to get transferred straight away from another country to Australia. But what I've done is I used my working holiday visa to then move to Sydney after I've done, the farm work and all the crazy jobs that I loved, by the way. It was an amazing experience. I've got a video on the channel about that. So after I've done all of that, I moved to Sydney because I knew Sydney would be the city where I would basically have more jobs, more chances of getting back to my career. And the plan worked. It wasn't instant. It took me a while. It was challenging. I had to send more than, I don't know, 60 to 70 CVs to many companies. Got contacted by many that then refused me because they saw that I was on a working holiday visa. Yeah, that happens. But then I found the one. I found the company that was able to hire me, regardless of the visa that I had, based on my experience, based on my knowledge of my industry. And that's very important. So my advice for you is, like I said, if you're stuck wherever you are, you need a change in your life. Australia is an amazing country for you to try a new life, to start over, to leave everything behind, quite literally, because it's so far away. And you can leave everything behind and move here with a working holiday visa and then use it as a bridge to then return to your career. Or if you have a qualification in a certain field, you can apply for jobs in that specific field. Okay, hang on. So far I haven't explained yet how I got to the citizenship stage. So it's only been about the working holiday visa, which is the first step only. So after that, so when you get sponsorships, if you get at least 2 sponsorships of 2 years by a certain company or 1 sponsorship of 4 years by a certain company in your field, that, and the rules are always changing, but at least during my time, and maybe that's still the case, so please check, that makes you eligible for applying for PR after those 4 years, because you've been working for the same employer and within Australia for at least 4 years. And that's one of the conditions for you to apply for PR. In my circumstances, that was the case. It really varies. So after I got those 2 sponsorships and I got the eligibility to apply for permanent residency, I did it. Like, obviously, like that was like one of the main things for me. There was one massive condition before you apply for permanent residency in Australia. And to be honest, I think it's fair. So the Australian government demands that in the 4 years immediately before the day you apply for your permanent residency, you must not be out of the country for more than 12 months in total in those 4 years. Luckily, I travel a lot, but I did the maths, and luckily I was out of this country in the 4 years before my PR on a total of 10 and a half months. 10 and a half months. So I was like almost over the limit, but I managed to not be over the limit. I applied for PR, and here I am, right? So I got PR. After 1 year of having your permanent residency, you can then apply for the Australian citizenship. But there's another restriction, another massive restriction there. So you cannot be out of the country for over 90 days in the year before applying for the citizenship. So if I had traveled, I don't know, somewhere, even like back to Europe or something, and I spent 6 months in Europe on that last year, I would lose the chance to apply for citizenship. So essentially Australia became a prison for me in a way. But a massive, beautiful, full of nature and economically stable prison. It was super easy. I struggled a little bit, like when I was like missing home or missing people that were in other countries, some friends, some family. Yeah, that's normal. This is a faraway place, and you cannot just jump on a flight and fly 2 hours to go to Europe, where I'm from. But I've done it, and it's a sacrifice that you got to do if you really want this, if you really want to become an Australian citizen. And then once you apply for the citizenship and you get invited for the citizenship test, yes, there's a test. Oh, and by the way, you got to do an IELTS, which is basically an English test that will give you the seal of approval that you speak English fluently, or at least enough to be part of this country, right? Or to apply for the visa. You know, that's essentially what it means. The minimum result that I needed was a 6, and it goes from 0 to 9. So I cannot stress enough, like, the importance of speaking English fluently. I cannot stress it enough. Of course, that, even if you move here without fluent English, after 5, 6 years, and if you really mingle with locals and you try to meet other foreigners and you always make an effort to talk in English, you'll get there. You'll get the fluency, you'll learn English, and you'll eventually reach level 5 or 6 on the IELTS. But if you don't make an effort, if you hang out with the people from your country, if you speak in your mother tongue all the time, that's not really going to help. So be very careful with that. But anyway, regarding the citizenship test, it's fairly easy. It's about 20 questions and they are multiple choice. You need to score 75% minimum on the citizenship test. However, you cannot fail a single question about the Australian values. They are beautiful values: freedom of speech, respect for others, freedom of religion, freedom of association, rule of law. They are beautiful values. There's more. It's a long list, and you cannot fail any of these values. So if you fail any of these values, let's say on the freedom of speech question, there's multiple choices, and ABC, C says that only the Prime Minister has the right to speak his mind, and you say yes, that's it. You will not become an Australian. That's how dangerous that is. But to be fair, yeah, this is how silly the questions are sometimes. Not all of them. Some of them are tricky. You need to learn a lot about the Aboriginal Australians as well, the First Nations. That's really important. And yeah, but it was okay. I scored 100, by the way, so I'm really glad. After you pass the tests and you get the results, that's the moment when you officially become Australian, but not completely, because you still need to attend the ceremony, because it's at the ceremony that you then get invited maybe like 3 months later, like in my case. That's at the ceremony where you have to swear oaths to Australia, you have to sing out loud the Australian anthem, and you have to eat some lamingtons that they provide over there. So, yeah, and you have to shake hands with the mayor of your local council as well. It's a big deal. So that means I have acquired another citizenship by my effort, not because I was born somewhere, not because my parents were born here, but because it was due to my hard work and my patience and my dedication and my sacrifice as well, And it's an amazing feeling to be recognized by Australia of these things. It's a fucking amazing feeling. So my message to you and why I'm making this video: the world is immense. The world is beautiful, is amazing. There are so many beautiful opportunities and beautiful countries. And if you're feeling stuck, and that's my main point for you, if you're feeling stuck, realize that that's not the only reality that there is. That's not the only place that you have to be. That's not the only person that you have to be. There are so many things out there. There are so many countries, so many people to meet, so many special people, so many special places, and so many amazing things to learn and to encounter throughout your life, skills to gain, and all this stuff. So think very well about your life. And if you have this opportunity, if you are from one of the countries that enables you to get the working holiday visa for Australia, think about it. Seriously, think about it. It's going to change your life forever, because it's an unbelievably amazing country. You don't have to live in Sydney like me. There's other places, there's other cities, there's remote areas. If you're a person more rural, more into villages, you can go to villages. If you're more into cities, you can pick one of the big cities. Sydney is fairly big. Sydney is about 6 million people. It feels quite small because it's very spread out and people are segregated in their communities, but it's a decent sized city and it offers so much if you're a city person. And then you've got nature next door. You've got nature in the city as well. So yes, don't waste your life. If you feel like you're stuck, if you feel like the world is so big and you've got so much to do, just make sure you don't waste your life away. Research, visas, ways to move to other countries. countries that need you, countries that value your skills, that value you, and they want you. I'm in Australia, so I'm biased, but maybe there's other equally amazing countries and cities out there that will offer you the same opportunity. Some people go to Dubai, some people go to the US, still amazing. Some people find happiness and growth in even developing countries as well. There are amazing opportunities in some countries like that. Like I've lived in Vietnam before and I prospered there. Like I taught English there to young kids and nurses in hospitals as well, how to pronounce organs and body parts and stuff like that. So you never know. Like the opportunities are endless. And for me, it was Australia, the UK before, Portugal, where I'm from, where I was born. For you, it might be something else, but keep your horizons open. That's my message. And don't ever feel stuck. If you feel stuck, do something about it, change it. And actually, before we go, let me show you where I am right now and how beautiful this is. Look at that. Isn't Sydney beautiful? Look at this. Yes, I specifically chose this spot because it's one of my favorite spots in Sydney, and it's in Vaucluse near Shark Beach, because this feels like Sydney somehow. Feels like very much like Sydney. And you've got the bridge and the opera house behind me. You've got the city, with all the skyscrapers. And I couldn't think of a better place to record this video, this more spontaneous video where I just speak my mind. And yeah, sorry if I was a bit slow. No script, nothing. Not that I use script all the time. I only use scripts in some of my videos. But yeah, so I hope you got some value out of it. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe for more. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one.